following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 2.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our second stream of the day here in D2 Archery April. We've had quite the day so far, but we are going to wrap things up here with our last match of the day to determine the second half of the Crusade Regional Final. I am your host G-Man, and we are back with the bracket as we are about to get things underway between number 3 seed SaiyanTitan and number 7 seed Omii, both into the round of 16. For SaiyanTitan, second time in their career, Omii third time, both looking for their first regional final appearance. And we should have a good match going today. We'll see how this all breaks down. But let's take a look at the schedule of what's happened so far. We had our noon game start off the day with Ridley Ninja Jacks. Ridley was in firm control for most of that game, able to take care of business, prevent Ninja Jacks from making it to the regional finals, prevent the 16 from making it to the round of 8 for the first time ever. Ridley wins it 4-1, gets some redemption, also qualifies for the postseason with that win, fifth win of the season for him, and he locks his spot up after missing the LCQ last season. And then we continue to think action with the Bow region. This was a really quick game. J Money just walked in, took care of business, and walked out. 4-0 for him. Complete opposite of what he had in the round of 32. Really quick. Jamie, unfortunately, didn't really have much of an answer. There was a big wild differential in that game, so a bit of a hosing there, but not the way Jamie wanted his tournament to end, but still a good showing nonetheless overall. J Money moves on. He faces Rana with in the regional finals, both of them looking for their first ever Final Four appearance. And now last week, wrapping up the day, we got SaiyanTitan taking on Omii. SaiyanTitan's first stream. Omii, been here a few times, was also unofficially on stream last round, so gonna have his second official match, but also his third overall with the game 4 individually being streamed, which he did win on a comeback, so that is something to note. Take a look at the Crusade region bracket here. Again, Omii Saiyan going at it. Winner faces White Spider. Saiyan looking for that rematch from his debut match back in 2024. And I don't think Omii and White Spider have ever played, at least in this league, so that would be a first time. White Spider was able to beat Shadowhunter 4-3. Shadowhunter made a mistake in Game 7, which ended up costing him the game. White Spider took advantage and moves on. And on the other side, of course, Omii 4-2 win over Nifty, and then SaiyanTitan, pretty close match in the last round against Sam 4-3. Looking to get the win once again this time, SaiyanTitan at 4 wins, so he's looking to also qualify for the LCQ with a victory here tonight. Now we'll bring it over to the stream here. No co-commentator for today, but we do have both our players, and Nam will be our ref. Thank him for jumping in last minute, but we will start things off with Saiyan here. Back in the round of 16, this has been a much better start to the season than it was last season. Although last season you were technically there for 2 tournaments, so it's kind of depends on how you look at it. But much better start. You're in a qualification game here for the postseason. Any thoughts going into this one as you look to be able to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, it varies upon 2 factors for me. First of all, I mean, my luck is basically all over the place. You know, sometimes you get a good deck, sometimes you get a bad deck, but that's basically everybody around here. But for me, it's much more weight, in my honest opinion. And the second factor is to keep all options open, you know, keep a clear mind, because I know I haven't had the best of that in this tournament compared to the last one. And I kind of hope with whatever I got in my sleeve, I can just do it just fine, resort to plan B if necessary, and I should be able to get it done and finally get into this LCQ.
All right, then for Omii here, again, this has been more of a redemption runner for you after a disappointing February. Back-to-back wins here. You make it to the round of 16 for the third time in your career. Wasn't able to get out of this round last season, but you make it here with more experience. What do you feel you need to do tonight to get the win, make your first regional final, and try to keep your run going?
Dude, all I'm saying is that I'm praying, man. Like at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that it's on my side, and if it ain't, well, it happens. But hey, it's the second time. If not, it's gonna be third time's a charm, you know. But I'm praying, man. That's all I can hope for.
All right, sometimes all you need to win is God, and we will see if the prayers will be on his side. But with that said, we'll get things going here. Nam will start things up. Saiyan has the game 1 call, and we'll see where he goes from there.
I'm gonna start a double OG, man.
So 14. All right. All right, and games can be underway, and we start with the blue 9. All right, and then Saiyan is gonna def in there. That's what he did tell me before the game that he was gonna try to do that. So that's what it was, but I'm also just making sure we have that clear. And he's gonna start with the blue 8 here for game number 1. An immediate switch from Omii, so it goes to the red 8. Now we run red. This is a higher card start to start things off, but we'll see how this goes from here. Red 0. And we just keep running the red. I should probably turn up my mic a little bit. There we go. Okay, and to get the 0 switch here for green, Joao joins. He'll be playing tomorrow for the first spot in the D-Flex Regional Final. He'll be going up against Aiden Smith as we continue the action here. Now we run the greens here. This has been basically numbers so far. I really think this game 1, or this is going to come down to is who has the first draw. And that could be a massive disadvantage. And just as we say it, Omii has the first draw here, so that could put him in a tough spot. Yeah, Saiyan's gonna keep going, and now Omii has to look for this switch here. Can't find it. Saiyan just continue running these greens here. This is a relatively quicker pace here. I forgot to start the clock, so I'm stupid, but yeah, let me just not that much. This is gonna be horribly inaccurate, but log 135, 136. All right, that's gonna be roughly where it is, but apologies for that. Switch the blue, a bit of a run going. So here's some of the ammo here from Omii, and there's the +2, so that's gonna help him out. And now Omii has tied it up. Let's go in the yellow. I think it's 3 of the 4 zeros are now gone, and now we continue the numbers. I don't think Saiyan has not drawn once all game thus far. Just as I say that, he draws. So, oh, and the switch there as well. So Omii in a good spot here. Saiyan rolling on the numbers. But can Omii find a finisher? And yes, he will with the double. So gets game 1 here. Gonna go up 1-0. That was a relatively quick match. But ultimately, that was just a lot of speed and just being able to find those draws when needed. 2:25, so yeah, again, I should have started the clock there before, but Omii goes up early 1-0. Omii, thoughts on that game? You drew first, so you were kind of in a tough spot, but was able to find the run on the blues there when you got that, when Saiyan gave you that switch. So any takeaways from that, and any thoughts as you were able to come back from a small deficit early on to get the win?
Yeah, honestly, I saw the run, dude. I mean, I had two. I didn't have any blue numbers at that point, so I just decided to get rid of all my ammo right there. I also wanted to get the +2 out of pure safety. I'm super lucky with the switch though, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And then for Saiyan, game 1 didn't quite go the way you were hoping. Any takeaways from that one?
Man, I had nothing I can do here. I mean, out of 14 cards, you're expecting maybe some ammo, something like that. The bot decided to screw me over, and you probably could figure out what I got as a deck as a result. So I just took advantage of what color I had and crossing my fingers that the color I had the most that he would draw off of. And hopefully he didn't have any attack cards. Kind of figured he'd probably do that as soon as I switched to blue, but didn't think it'd be to the point where I'd have nothing else I could do left.
Alright, so there you have it, but down 1-0 early, but still again early, so Saiyan will have the game 2 call here. We'll see what he does to try to make this 1-1.
Well, I did this in the last round. They're gonna do it again. Do the full send.
Alright, early full send coming here. So we go 15. Unfortunately, with not a lot of people here. Oh, well, there we go. Nom's got it. And we start, and it's going to be a yellow 9 to kick things off here. Switch to yellow 7. Or, well, plays the yellow 7, not switch. But, again, early start here with the yellows, and then we get an early switch here on one of the early turns. A nice quick crossover to the wild blue for Omii. Didn't like what he was seeing with that red switch, so jumps quick, and now we run blue. A lot of light switching here early on, as now we jump into green. With 15 cards and a crossover the yellow, so much color switching happening right now. You'd think that we wouldn't get a lot of draws here early on, but with Omii doing an immediate switch after the red, you gotta wonder what's going on with that. But yeah, a lot of light switching here, keeps it rolling. First ditto of the match right there with the green 3, and a relatively quick pace as Saiyan's gonna throw down the +2 here. That's second double here, so he's gonna give himself a bit of a gap. And just the green 2 goes back up to the green 7, both green 7s. Omi's gonna respond with the green 1, and Saiyan's actually gonna run out on green now. So we'll see what Omii does here. Grab something. There we go. Bit of a type here, maybe a run coming. So that's 6. Okay, can't play the blue 1. But goes into the wild blue. That could be a small mistake. We'll see if it matters. And Saiyan's still gonna be at 6. Saiyan's still at 6 cards. It is tied. So yeah, now a bit of a decision here from Saiyan. What he does, he's gonna go for the wild yellow, so goes right back to where it was before with the skip. Now what does Omii do here? He has a +4 and he's gonna go into blue. Just do blue. There you go. Wow, and the +4 there. That might have been some ammo used up though, so could be a slight problem for Omii when it comes to a finish. We'll see. Saiyan's just gonna go with the blue 8. Just gonna accept it for now. Oh my lordy lord, that is a big finish to the end. A lot of ammo there. And Omii's going to go up 2-0. So far, it seems the prayer is working thus far. Yeah, so ultimately, that slight mishap actually didn't really matter. But, yeah, big run on the red to finish it. Double +4. I want to ask if that was all starting hand, or maybe something happened with that +2 from earlier in the game, but Omii, big run to the finish there.
All starting hand, bro. That was all starting hand. Like crazy hand. I got a 2 +4s and 2 wilds.
That's
insane, dude.
That's kind of wild. No pun intended, but yeah, big run there. Cards definitely in Omii's favor to start this thing out, but Saiyan, not the start you were hoping for. Tied tier didn't seem to work there, but I mean, any takeaways from that? Or I don't really know if there is, because that's just kind of unfortunately, that just seems like a bit of a split cards there. Maybe is there anything else you maybe thought you could have done?
Based off of what he did, not really. I was hoping I would ice him out in the yellow. Originally was going to go with green, but either way, it wasn't even going to make a difference. And this is just really concerning, dude. But There was one time I did go 0-2, and I did come back from a 4 straight, so don't be surprised if a power play comes out next game, because this is kind of ridiculous on my end. I don't know how he's getting this lucky.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just how this game goes, but Ami's gonna have the game 3 start here. Away seems to be favored so far, so maybe could flip things around, but Ami's gonna have the call for game 3. Just can't pick 15. We'll see what he decides to go with.
Give me 8.
Gonna go mid tier. All right. So 8 is the start. Maybe we could see a power play here. But green 4 is going to be the opener. You know, it's immediate switch to blue. And that's going to be an immediate slap there. As the +2 gives Saiyan the lead. Throws Omii back to 9. And it's going to be not a ditto play. It's going to be a switch. But there's this blue 6. So double blue 6 there to cover. And it's going to be a double from Omii to try and close the gap. Yeah, very quick game so far. Omii draws. Saiyan running the blue right now. Omii still can't find anything. And I mean, this has really just been mostly plan A, but it won't be plan A here right now, as both are now drawing as we enter what is now an early draw city. Saiyan may have found something on this draw here. Gonna be a wild red. So gets the top deck there. What is the response from Omii? Maybe a run incoming. It's a +4. Finds the +4. Now we go into yellow. So keeps it rolling here. Yellow now the color, and I'm not quite sure what Saiyan's gonna do here, but he's just gonna try to find a way to bring himself back into this, and that's gonna be an easy way to do that. Finds the +4 there, so brings it back even. I believe that is his first +4 of the series so far, so came at a pretty good time. Now Omii being thrown back further. He's going to blue. Just past 2 minutes on this game. Omii taking a second to think. Going to be an immediate switch to red. Saiyan able to play it. I mean, we saw him do the wild red before. Red 0. Red 3 keeps it rolling down here. Crossover into the green. Now what's the play going to be here? And it's actually going to be a fatal switch. So Saiyan gets one back. And this has been a relatively quick series so far. But Saiyan, I mean, kind of was kind of similar start to the past 2 games where you get out to the lead early. But draws kind of come into play, but then you play the wild. Was that wild a top deck? And what was the thoughts after the +4 exchanges? As eventually after that, you were able to kind of win off the switch.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I had 2 reds and the +4 as my last 3 cards. I had 2 options. I could either flush out the power play early, or I can play on and hopefully the gamble worked out. In this particular case, the gamble did work out. I went with red. He kind of fell for it because I had the +4 waiting on me as soon as he did it. So basically, I wanted to play the waiting game a little bit until I froze him out on the blue with the +4 because we were tied. It wasn't going to be a high chance that he had anything too good in return. So because of that, I just waited for the green to work out, and surprisingly, it was easier than I thought. Just swapped it out, and it was just a fatal switch. Took advantage of it. Simple as that.
And then Omii, fatal switch though to end that one. Any takeaways from that game? As we've really just been, I wouldn't say it's necessarily fully plan A since we have seen some draw cities, but generally speaking, any takeaways from that game going forward?
I don't know, man. I mean, right there, I had no indication that he could have a green. and I could just switch because I had a bunch of numbers that didn't have really anything special. So I was kind of just like back and forth between um red and green. But I mean, it just how the cookie crumbles. It happens.
All right. Game 4, Omii will be the call. Away side is really looking good so far, but we'll see if Omii can try to break that trend or if Saiyan keeps it going. But Omii has the game 4 call.
Let's do it again.
I'm gonna run 8 again. Wow. Okay, so gonna go back to 8. We'll see how this works out. And we start with a blue reverse, so maybe an early chance for an early run, possibly. We will see. And nope, gonna be a blue 6 to start. We've seen some early switches before. Gonna stay with the blue for now. Omii draws again, just can't really seem to find much on this blue for the start. Saiyan able to keep it rolling. And Omii just draws once again. Gets the switch, so that should in theory free up Omii, but crossover to yellow, alright. Saiyan able to keep running, and this has just been running a really quick pace for most of this one. But Saiyan's just kind of been rolling on the numbers here. Would not be surprised if this ends up being 2-2 here. This wayside seems to be really good so far in this series. Another color switch into the red. And this pace really is a really fast pace here. Omii looking for the next play. Maybe taking a second to think. Yeah, maybe just wants to slow things down a little bit. Gonna find another +4 here. And goes into the yellow now. I'll be able to find these +4s. Wild red is in theory going to stifle things out, and yes, it will. Now Saiyan looking to just run the numbers here. Omii's still with nothing. And that's going to be a bit of a stall here, so we might be stuck on red for a while. Good play from Saiyan to at least slow things down a bit, get a draw CD going, try to build a deck. Now we'll see what happens here. As Omii is going to be... actually, Omii is not in the lead. It's pretty much tied, but Saiyan's going to break the difference there as we get the switch to green. Omii still has nothing. Alright, so... That's not good for Omii. He's stuck there, but now it's really just gonna be running the numbers at this point, and Omii still cannot find anything. Gets the switch to blue, and I would think this frees him up now. There we go. Saiyan's just kind of having his own way right now with these cards, and with the colors especially. Just keeps it rolling here, fast paced still. Blue 7. Ditto. So both with the blue 7. Now what's the call going to be from Omii here? It's going to be a +2. So throws him back a little bit. Still able to play the blue with the 4. And nothing left from Omii. And nothing left from Saiyan. Yeah, this is a very bizarre hand from Omii. He's really high up on the card number, and it just seems like it's draw after draw for Omii. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that hand, but it's not looking good right now. Saiyan able to give a bit of a breather for a second with the blue 3. Does he find a switch? No, he does not. Keeps going on the draw city. This is the longest game of the series so far as Omii finds a switch into the red. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what Omii is stuck at 11 cards here. He has not really gone below 6 at any point in this game. But just running the red, trying to find something. Saiyan draws. If Omii can keep this going, that might help him a little bit to get back into this. It will with the red 0. Nothing there from Saiyan. Still keeping up the quick pace here, so we brought the hit 4 minutes. So ultimately, this is going to be Omii needs to be able to keep this running if he wants to put himself back into this, because I think for a majority of this series, in terms of the game, Saiyan gets out to an early lead, and it's really whether or not Omii can make up the deficit at some point to try and overtake. But this is definitely going to help him overtake here, as the 3-card switch puts him back in, goes into the yellow. Now he looks to take some of the momentum, but this should free up Saiyan in theory. And he's going to respond with a +4 and a 3-card run of his own. Now we go back into the blue. Blue 2. Looking to get something going here. Immediate switch into the green. What does Omii do here? Bit of a tough read here. That's kind of what he's done, and it's a okay. So it's a +6, goes into blue and draws and leaves the door open. It wasn't feeling comfortable. Saiyan's gonna draw, and now we just keep leaving this +2 open. All right, gonna close it with the blue 3, so it won't jump on a potential +6. And there's the switch right there. That's the second time I believe we've seen the blue 3, the blue and the green right there with I think the 3s. It might have been the 2s before, but another 0 played down. As we continue the greens, double from Omii. He holds the lead right now. Running the green. Gets a switch into the red. Now we're getting close to 6 minutes here, so again, longest game of the series so far. Red 9, bot lagged a bit, we're all good. Saiyan runs out on red. Switch to yellow for Omii. We haven't really seen a lot of yellow this series so far, so this is a bit of an unknown. We'll see what Saiyan can do here. He says, I know where this is going. Goes with the double. Does not feel confident with this. Oh, it's a +4 yellow, and that's going to be, it's another +4 from Omii. So the switch ultimately didn't necessarily matter in terms of the actual finish, but it seems like Saiyan just did not really have much to close that one out. So Omii 3-1, finally finally a homestand win for someone, but yeah, that was the longest game of the series so far. Omii, I mean, that was a interesting one. There were times where I had no idea what your hand was because you felt like you were drawing on nearly every color, but talk to me through how the cards laid out for you on that one and what was ultimately the winning moment for you.
So the winning moment was when I figured out I had a +4. I had a lot of number efficiency in that game. Like I had a bunch of like Y9s and like most numbers that connected each other, which was what I was like honestly hoping for during that game. When I was drawing for the most part, I like mostly had either 1 or 2 cards of that color, depending mostly. And that kind of just gave me like a lot of leeway because like I was mostly just praying that this dude didn't have a run when he was at like +4. Also just like saving my ammo. Like for example, those +2s really came in clutch for me. But yeah, that's it.
All right, go to sign here. 3-1. It's at times it feels like this. I mean, we look at the stats here. +4s haven't really seemed to be in your favor here. Neither with the +2s. So, a bit of a tough one here so far. But we've seen you make comebacks in the past. What do you feel you got to do to try to bring this back to first bring it even, and then try to get that win to win in 7?
I mean, I don't know. I felt like this should have been a slightly different situation right now because, I mean, based off of how I played so far, it shouldn't be where it's at. But simply, you just take a look at the stats, and clearly the bot is favoring Omii a bit too much. And every time I get a big opportunity, the bot likes to screw me in every way imaginable. So, I really don't know. Both of us have a power play, which is a bit of a problem. I kind of wish there was chances for me to do something about it, but really, at this point, you just gotta try to do something to it. Just stick with what you know.
Alright, we'll see what happens as Saiyan will get the home field once again. So we jump to game 5, just can't pick 8. So we'll see what he decides to go with. I might have an idea what he might consider, but ultimately we'll see what he chooses, and whether my hunch could be correct.
I have two possible starts I can go with. This one might actually bite me because I'm saving this one till game 7. So I'm going to go with a game 5 with the double OG. Let's try that one again.
I'm going to try 14 again. Alright, so we saw what happened with Omii went back to the 8 before, won on this one. Saiyan looking to have some similar magic here. As we start with the blue reverse, that's the second time we've started with the blue reverse in this series so far. And once again, not going to jump on it. It's sweating emoji from Omii. Not sure what that's going to mean. But running the numbers. And that's going to be a big +6 here. One off from comeback from Omii, but still down to 19. And once again, Saiyan is going to get out to an early lead here in this game. But we'll see how this goes come the end of it. Red 6, red 1. I don't expect Omii to draw for a while, but it's really for Saiyan. This is about getting to the end, and for Omii, he's trying to find a draw out of Saiyan. Got a lot of number efficiency here. Also there's a ditto I just noticed on the red 8, and quick switch into red, and there's the draw for Saiyan. So this is what Omii needs to get himself back into this. And now he's really just got to be careful on these numbers here. Because you know right now Saiyan's going to be looking for that switch. But Omii's just going to give it to him. Going to go with the green. And Saiyan's going to keep things rolling. And again, this pace has been really fast throughout this game. Or throughout the series. Not even just the game. But Omii's going to go for the +2. Throw Saiyan back a little bit. Now the deficit's down to 2.5. And Saiyan's going to go for a quick switch to yellow. Which we'll see what Omii does here. Again, Omii had 19 before, so might be able to keep things rolling, but a quick switch into red. This could end up being a stall. But, oh wow, he's gonna have the skips to be able to get out of it and go into green. We are tied now. Saiyan's still with the possession arrow. Saiyan not feeling too confident about this. Green 3. Green 6 just goes to the numbers. Now the green 0. We've seen Saiyan play a lot of zeros at this entire series, so he's seemingly getting a lot of them. And a wild yellow. So another wild from Omii here. First of the game. Saiyan doesn't like it. He's going to power play. Might as well make sure he's able to use it here. I don't know if this will be a finish. Okay, gonna use number efficiency to go into the blue. It's a good play there. No, and another wild, and that's going to actually... That might hurt Saiyan a bit. Maybe he has another yellow here. He has the Uno, though. Yellow 9. Can he actually find the finish? That ends up actually working out really well for Saiyan here. And it's a draw. No. And I actually think he just revealed the last number. So, wow. I was honestly a good power play there from Saiyan, but unfortunately Omii had the cover with the wild, and Omii is going to do the power play here, and this might be it. And unfortunately with the power play before, not going to be able to stop it this time. There's the Uno call, yellow 9, so double yellow 9, and it looks like that'll be it. Draw ended up not giving something that hurt Omii, so Omii gonna get the win there. And yeah, I mean, was able to find the cards overall, and I think Saiyan knew he was in a bad spot with the first wild yellow, and I think that was a good power play to try to alleviate it, but unfortunately the second one came in, snuck up behind him, and at that point it really felt like there was not much he could do besides hope and pray that the I'm guessing the 6 would come out, but ultimately it did not, and that's just kind of how it goes. We'll start with Omii here. I mean, Omii do get the win here. Congratulations on that. You make it to the regional finals for the first time. Third time is the charm in this round. But thoughts on the game? It seemed like you were able to find the wilds at the right time to get the job done, and I'm actually curious what that power play draw ended up being, because it didn't seem to affect you that much going beyond that.
So I got a wild. I got the second wild out of
No
power play.
way.
Yeah. So
Oh
I had
God.
like 4 yellow cards at the end, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play my wild, and then I saw him like, do the power play. I was like, oh, I'm screwed, right? And it ended up being like the wild, right? So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This time I got extremely lucky. Like, just looking at the stats, you can see all the cards that I got. I got like a bunch of, I got 5+4s, 5 wilds compared to his 2 1+4s and his 3 wilds. Like, I got extremely lucky. Not much I can say about it. I'm super glad I finally made it. Super glad to play Titan in this round of 16, and
16, yeah.
I'm super happy. Thank you guys.
All right. So I'm gonna ask beforehand if you want to comment on the post game, or if you just want to leave no comment. I'll give you the choice on that.
Well, I don't know what even is appropriate to say here at all, so I'm not 100% certain.
You can just say no comment
Honestly,
if you don't know.
yeah, I mean, honestly, just no comment. This match should have gone in a completely different direction here. Certainly on the unfair territory, I wouldn't say this is the worst one I've ever played, but this is certainly up there on the list.
All right. Yeah, unfortunate end for Saiyan. Back-to-back round of 16 exits, but at 4 wins, he'll have. I mean, the next 2 tournaments, he'll have 2 shots at least to get that 5th win to qualify for the LCQ. He's still in a pretty good spot overall in the season, but Omii was on to the regional finals. Congratulations to him on the win. We'll take a look at the bracket here. He'll be facing White Spider in the regional finals here. White Spider will have the home field in that one. We'll see who gets the win there. Omii, first regional final appearance. White Spider making his 2nd in his career. Will be a good match, and we'll see who ends up making it to the Final Four and locking up their spot into the LCQ, because both of them not at 5 wins to this point. Both of them are at 3 wins to this point. Both were round of 64 exits in February, so big bounce back tournaments for both of them, as they both hope to try and qualify for the LCQ and make sure they have their postseason berth guaranteed. But beyond that, that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. That's all for us tonight. We will be back tomorrow with some more action, as Aiden Smith and Joao will go at it in the first half of the D-Flex regional semifinals. We will see who ends up getting the win there. That should hopefully be a really good match to watch out for. Aiden Smith in a qualification game, as he's at the 4 wins. Joao, debut of the tournament, looking to keep the run going and possibly keep the be another debut in the tournament who makes the Final Four, similar to what Bree did in the last tournament. But then also before that, at 4 p.m. we'll have Geo and Sky going at it, battle the media team members. We'll see who gets the win there. Geo looking to make it back to the regional final. Sky making it look their look to make their first. And can't wait to see that one. That'll determine who Ridley's opponent will be in the Aero regional final. So again, 4 p.m. Geo versus Sky in the Aero region, 5:30 p.m. on stream, Aiden versus Joao on the D-Flex region. I just got a text. I apologize about that. But after that, on Tuesday, last match of the round will be 9 p.m. Arnim versus Captain Gaming. So that will close out the round. Both of them looking for their first regional final appearance. Arnim with some success in myths. Captain Gaming playing a really good tournament, all things considered, in Archery April. So should be some exciting times ahead. But with that being said, that'll do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. We will catch you all tomorrow for some more MRE Uno action in Archery April. But until then, have a great day, everyone.
Let's go. Dude, I'm so excited to play.